Hey, this is Ryan. In this video, I'm going to share with you a case study, how I helped a client of mine close 2 real estate contracts in less than 1 month using Facebook ads. So what I'm going to do is show you over my shoulder the exact ad strategy. I'm going to show you the ad itself, how to set up that ad, and then after that lead is generated, we have them added into a CRM and we send them automated text and email notifications. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do that, what that looks like. Basically everything that allowed my client to close 2 transactions with Facebook ads. So let's just dive right into it. So here's what I'm going to show you. The strategy I implemented for a client of mine that resulted in 2 contracts in less than 1 month. 1 buyer contract and 1 buyer and seller contract. And this was using Facebook ads and automated follow-up in a CRM called LionDesk. Perhaps you've heard of it. So what I'm going to share with you is basically the ad that I used, how to set up that ad, the LionDesk automation. So that's how the tool we're using to send out automated text and email notifications. And here's the thing, there's a lot of videos online on YouTube that talk about the lead generation side of it, but there's not many that talk about the follow-up side of it. So I'm going to try and place an emphasis on that and show you how to do that successfully. I'm also going to show you how to set up real-time lead notifications using Zapier. So every time a lead is generated, you or your team are going to get a text and email notification with the name, email, phone number of that lead, as well as the campaign they were generated from, so you know why they provided you with their information. And then I'm also going to briefly talk about non-automated follow-up. So you picking up the phone and calling the lead and trying to book appointments with them. In a second here, I'm going to share my screen with you and actually show you step by step what this is going to look like and how to do it. I've actually recorded my screen and gone through the entire process for you, and I've sped it up, and I'm just going to kind of talk over that recording while we watch. So that's going to be very tactical information. So first, I just want to share with you an overview of the strategy so you can see if it's something you're actually interested in and if watching the full demonstration is going to be worth your time. So the overview is basically this. Number 1, we're going to brainstorm an offer that solves a problem that actually encourages a lead to provide us with their name, email, and phone number. Number 2, we're going to create a lead generation ad in Facebook's Ad Manager. So I'm going to walk you through the process inside the Ad Manager, all of the settings that I use, and the ad copy as well. And then we're going to use LionDesk CRM to send automated follow-up text messages and emails to our leads, and the goal of that is to get the lead to respond to us, to initiate a conversation so that you can move them further down your sales process. Number 4, we're going to use Zapier to send leads to LionDesk. We're not actually going to do that. We're going to set that up in LionDesk, but we're going to use Zapier to set up automated lead notifications for you and your team so that you know when leads are coming in and being generated. And then number 5, we're going to briefly talk about manually calling every single one of your leads to book appointments. So that's what we're going to talk about in detail. So if that sounds like something that might be valuable to you, then let's dive right into it. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do here, the campaign is going to be a homes list. We're advertising a list of homes in a certain market, your local market, underneath a certain price point, ideally the median price point. So what I'm doing here is identifying the median price point in Kansas City. That's the city we're going to use for the demonstration here. Now what I'm going to do is show you some different tools you can use to find images that we're going to use in our ad. So this site is pexels.com. You can find royalty-free images that you can use for commercial purposes and stuff like that. I always encourage you to find images that you have permission to use in advertising. Definitely wouldn't recommend just stealing stuff from the MLS or whatever. You want to make sure that you have permission. So I'm using Pexels to find some free images. I think the image that I downloaded just then was an image of a kitchen. And so what I'm going to do first here is build out what the actual ad image is going to look like for our Facebook ad campaign. And basically what this image is going to look like, it's going to be a grid. There's going to be 4 images. And there's going to be 3 images of a house and then 1 image of a kitchen in the bottom right, like you see there. So that image I took from pexels.com. Pixabay.com is another royalty-free image site that you can access and download some images of homes and stuff like that. The site that I often use though is Shutterstock, just because they have a greater variety of homes. So you can see I'm searching for Kansas City house. I just want to make sure that the images we use in our ad actually represent or look similar to houses that are in Kansas City. So what I'm doing right now is going to realtor.com. I'm searching for homes in Kansas City at the price point that we're advertising, which is $150,000 and under. I just want to make sure that the images I capture, like I said, they closely represent what we're actually advertising. So the whole purpose of this homes list campaign, people want to find property at a good value. So by advertising a list of homes beneath the median home price, that's going to be an attractive offer, and it's going to be something that people are willing to provide their information to you in exchange for. So now that I kind of have a sense of what homes in Kansas City look like, I'm going through Shutterstock and I'm downloading images so that I can use in these ads. So you can see I just downloaded an image there. So now I'm going back into my photo editing software. I use GIMP, G-I-M-P. It's a free software that's kind of like a dumbed down Photoshop almost. And you can use whatever image editing software that you prefer. The images we're creating are not super like complex. You don't need any like really advanced software to do it. So I mean, you could use Paint if you really wanted to. I'm just familiar using GIMP, so that's why I use it. So now you can see I'm just starting to add in the images of the houses to our grid here. And I believe I've got a bunch of stock images already saved on my computer from previous campaigns, so I'm just going to find those. And then I'm going to find some images that I've downloaded previously that look similar to those Kansas City houses. So basically, one thing to understand about Facebook ads, there are certain things that Facebook can kind of optimize for you. For example, your audience. So if you select an audience, and we're going to walk through that process in just a moment here, but Facebook can kind of optimize and deliver your ad to people who are responding well to it. But one thing Facebook cannot optimize or cannot change is your ad image. So that's why I really take my time to create good ad images that capture attention. And also it's really important that you have a good offer, because like I said, that's something that Facebook can't optimize and change for you. So you want to make sure that you do a good job at nailing that. So I'm just adding my last image in here. There we go. So we have a grid of 3 images in one kitchen of houses that look like they could be in the $150,000 or under price range in Kansas City, which is the median home price in that market. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a red bar over top of these images. I should be doing in just a second. And then on top of that red bar, I'm just going to put white text that says list of homes in Kansas City under $150,000. So Facebook has a rule where you can't have more than 25% of your image being text. So I found that if you just put this little bar right over the middle, or sometimes on the top or the bottom, that it's not enough text to get your ad disapproved. So this will work. All right, so I'm just exporting that image. So now we have our image. It's good to go for our ad campaign. So now I'm in the ad manager, and I'm going to walk you through the process of creating the ad. So what I did there was just I created a new campaign. So the first thing we're going to do is select a lead generation ad objective. That's what we're going to do at the campaign level. And then I'm going to name that. And once we do that, we're taken to the ad set level. And I'm just selecting my Facebook page. I'm going to use my personal page for this demonstration. Then we're going to go to the audience. We're going to simply select Kansas City as the city, and then people who live in that location. You don't need to really be more complex or specific than that. I like to be very broad with my audience and kind of let Facebook do all the work for me. Age, gender, we're just going to leave it at the default. And then interests, we're just going to insert some kind of broad, generic real estate interests like Zillow, Trulia, Redfin, Homes.com, maybe Realtor.com, or potentially if it's a smaller market, you could use real estate interest. That's a very big audience size, a big interest. So I like to try and get my audience size to between 100 and 400,000 people. So you can see on the right-hand side there, we're at 370,000 people. So that's a good size audience. For budget, I would recommend doing either $5 or $10 per day. And then the last thing I'm going to do at the ad set is just make sure that I give it a name. And then that's all we're really going to do for the ad set. Like I said, I like to keep things pretty broad at the ad set level, let Facebook do the heavy lifting for us. So the really important thing is going to be at the ad level. So once we click continue, we're going to be taken to the ad level. So from here, I'm just going to name the ad. I like to name it 150K, and then the number 1 just signifies the variation of the ad that we're testing. Then we're going to scroll down, make sure that we select single image or video, and then we're going to upload that image that we created previously. All right, so then once we do that, the image is good to go. The next thing we're going to do is just make sure that we add our ad copywriting. So the text, the headline, and the description. So I've got this notepad open with the text already copied in there. So you can pause the video and take a look at what that says. It's pretty generic. Basically it just says, are you looking for a great deal on property? I've compiled a list of homes for sale under $150,000. And then the headline basically says the same thing. Homes in Kansas City under 150K. Click learn more. So because we chose a lead generation ad objective, we're going to be using a lead form. So when people click on that button, it's going to open up a form on Facebook. So one advantage of that obviously is that you don't have to have a website. You don't need to develop that website or pay for that website. You just kind of have to go through this creation process right here in Facebook to create this landing page. So basically when they click that button, right now we're designing what they're going to see first. It's basically just going to say Kansas City homes under 150K. Get current prices, photos, details, and more now. Learn more by providing your information below. And then I ask for their first name, last name, email, and phone number. Make sure you add your privacy policy in there. And then you can also add a custom disclaimer. So I know in certain states they have really strict rules on like texting and making sure it's very clear how many texts you're going to send your audience and stuff like that. So you can add an additional consent checkbox, which looks like this. Basically it just says, by opting in, you may receive text messages. Check this box to confirm that you agree to that. So that is an option, or if you include that in your privacy policy, that might satisfy that regulation. It depends on kind of the market that you're advertising in. And then once they opt in, they're going to be taken to this thank you screen. So it's basically going to say, thanks, you're all set. Click view list below to get your list. So what we're going to do, that list is going to, that button on the thank you page is going to open up this list of homes, which is already being preset to under $150,000. So I like to provide instant gratification to my audience. Once they opt in, I like to provide them with that list immediately. So I would suggest using or creating a list using your own IDX tool, or maybe you've got a tool on your website or your brokerage's website. I'm using realtor.com just because I don't have that tool myself. But basically we're just going to create that list at that price point. And then what you should be able to do is just copy the URL once this loads. And then you can basically take that URL, copy it, go back to Facebook, and then insert that as the link to that button. So once they opt in, they're going to see this, they're going to click that button, and it's going to open up that list of homes. So they get instant access to that. So that's how we're going to generate these leads, providing something of value in exchange for their information. We're going to save and then click finish. So now our ad is all good to go. The next thing we're going to do is set up LionDesk, which is a real estate CRM. And these are things that you're going to need to do once you create your LionDesk account. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. So basically this is a CRM that's going to allow us to manage the relationships with our leads. Once you log in, you're going to click on profile. You want to make sure that you have the correct information, your name, email, phone number in there. And the next thing I would suggest, make sure you have a LionDesk texting number. So basically LionDesk, I think it's got a 30-day free trial, which is what I'm showing you in this demonstration. I think the pro plan is like $25 per month. And then the LionDesk texting number is like $5 per month. Basically it gives you a custom number that allows you to send video messages. It also allows you to do some other stuff. Make sure you update your time zone, and then text times. I would suggest actually updating this to 12 a.m. to 11:30. Otherwise, it might restrict you to when you're actually sending texts to your leads. Usually these leads are going to be, I mean, who knows when they're generated. Sometimes leads come in late at night, early in the morning. Because we're sending them text messages in response to them opting in, I'd like to kind of send a response message to them at any point during the day. So then after that, we're going to scroll to the bottom, and you can update your email signature there. And then under direct mail, we want to make sure that we update this information. So this is just fake information here, but we're not actually going to be using the direct mail feature in LionDesk, but by updating that information, it's going to allow us to use that when we pre-populate our automated text and emails. So for example, it says Ferguson Realty. That's where you would update your organization name. So in the emails that we send out, we've got this thing that pulls that information into the email automatically. So we want to just make sure it pulls that information in correctly. So yeah, manage subscriptions. So you can see there's the price point there. The monthly pro subscription is $25 per month. And then like I said, the phone number is $5 per month, I believe. All right, so once we do that, you can see these are the things you want to change. Next, we're going to go to marketing, and we're going to create the automated drip campaign that's going to be sent to all new leads once they opt in and are added into our LionDesk account. So you can create this manually yourself, but the really cool thing about LionDesk is that you can download drip campaigns from other people. So if you click on autopilot drip campaigns, you can see I've already got a few in there. You're going to have a few in there by default. Once this loads, on the right hand side there, you'll be able to search, and you can basically just like search for people and download their drip campaigns that they've shared publicly with other people. So if you just type in my name, Ryan Ferguson, I've got a drip campaign that you can use. It's got, I think, 13 total messages, which include text and email, or you can just search for other people's and use theirs. Basically what you're going to do is find it and then click this download button. You can see that I'm downloading somebody else's only because I've already got mine into my LionDesk account, so it won't allow me to download it again. And then once it downloads, you can see it just adds it to the top of your auto drip campaigns right there. So right now, the one that I created is Homes List under, and then whatever your price point is. So you're just going to click on Tasks. So that's going to show you kind of the sequence of text and emails that are going to be sent out to your new leads. So you can see they're going to receive a text in the first 3 minutes of them being added to LionDesk, and then they're going to be sent an email at 5 minutes. They're going to be sent another one 3 hours later, etc., etc. So these emails and text messages are sent out over the course of like a week or something like that. And the purpose of them is just to get people to respond to you. Now, once they respond to you, you'll get a notification. So if you click on templates, this is where you can actually go in and edit the content of these texts, messages, and emails. So I would suggest that you go through here, click on that edit button, and make sure that all of the information is correct. There's a few things you're going to want to update. For example, the homes list price point. We want to make sure that that reflects the ad campaign, so 150K. You want to make sure you insert your actual homes list URL here. And then the things that are in those curly brackets, that's actually going to just pull information from LionDesk. So it says, hey, first name. That first name is going to populate with the first name of your lead. So just make sure you kind of go through here, review these emails. Like I said, make sure that there's no information that's missing. And feel free to update this and change the wording and stuff like that. But that's the drip campaign that we used with this case study I'm talking about. So that makes it pretty easy for you. You don't even have to go in and create these yourself. You can simply download them. So now we're going to go to settings, and what we're going to do is connect our Facebook to our LionDesk. So when leads are generated through that lead form, we want them to be automatically added into our LionDesk account. So under settings, we're going to go to your lead sources, click on new source, and we're just going to name this after the campaign. So something like homes list under 150K. Add source, and then we're going to go to Facebook settings. So I've blurred out this information, but you're going to click on the blue button and add a Facebook page. And once you add that Facebook page, it's going to there's going to be like a little expansion, like a plus button. It's going to expand and show you all of the lead forms that are connected or created on that Facebook page. And you're just going to click on the lead form that we created in that campaign previously. And basically what that's going to do is it's going to basically connect that lead form to your LionDesk account. So then we want to go to third-party integrations, make sure that Facebook CRM is active, and then we're going to go to lead distribution and team settings. Under lead source provider, we're going to click on that and find that Facebook CRM. You just search for Facebook, it should show up. There we go, Facebook Lead Ad CRM Direct, and then say add new lead routing. And then from here, it's going to ask us to select a lead source. And remember, we created that lead source previously, so we're just going to select that one, the homes list under 150K. What drip campaign do we want them to be added to? That homes list campaign, that's the text message and email campaign that we just set up. And then distribution settings, you can set it up to an individual agent, or if you have some kind of routing set up. So that's all you're going to need to do for LionDesk. Next, we're going to go to Zapier and show you how to set up automated notifications when new leads are generated. I'm just going to log into my account here. So basically, just kind of to recap or summarize where we're at so far, we've created a Facebook ad campaign that's generating leads. Those leads are now automatically being added into our LionDesk CRM, and those leads are now receiving our automated drip campaign, which will send them text messages and emails. So what we're going to do now is set up notifications so that you or your teammate or whoever will receive text messages and an email when a new lead is generated, so that you know when they're generated and so that you can follow up with them quickly yourself if you'd like. So this is using a tool called Zapier. You're going to click New Zap. As the trigger, we're going to select Facebook lead ads. And then if this is your first time, you're going to need to connect your Facebook account. Once you do that, we're going to select the page that we want to use. So I've just blurred this out because I've got some client pages. So I've selected my page, and then you need to select the lead form, and that's the lead form we created in our campaign. I'm going to give it a name. So basically this trigger is saying whenever a new lead is generated in this Facebook lead form from this Facebook page, the following actions are going to happen. So Zapier is going to basically create these actions once this new lead is generated in Facebook. And those actions that we want are to send us a text message and an email. So we're going to click add an action step, and then we're going to say SMS by Zapier. So this is a free app offered by Zapier that sends text messages to you. So you're just going to have to set up your cell phone number, which is really easy to do. Just click on connect an account. Once you do that, click continue. So from here, this is the number that you're going to receive this text notification from. And then this is the message that will be sent to your cell phone. So if you click on that plus button in the top right, basically what this is going to do is allow us to take the information we captured or collected from Facebook lead forms and have it integrated or sent to us via text message. And then at the end, I'm just going to include homes list under 150K. So what this is going to do is send us a text message with the name, email, and phone number of that new lead and the campaign that they were generated from. So then the next action step we're going to set up is an email using the email by Zapier integration. It's going to be sent to my email. The subject line of the email is going to be new lead, homes list under 150K. And then we're going to do the same thing in the body of this email. Include the name, email, and a phone number of that new lead, as well as the campaign they were generated from. And there we go. If you just scroll down and click continue, that kind of completes the entire process. So I think this video was about 20 minutes long or so, or that demonstration was 20 minutes long. So basically what we know how to do now is create and set up a successful Facebook lead generation ad that's going to get people to willingly provide you with their name, email, and phone number. We're going to have those leads automatically added into our CRM, where they will start receiving an automated drip campaign to try and get them to respond to us and initiate a conversation. And then we also set up automated notifications so that you or your teammates know when these new leads are being generated so that you can follow up with them quickly. Now, in addition to the automated text and email notifications that LionDesk is going to send to these new leads, I always encourage my clients to pick up the phone and call them as soon as they can as well. And basically that phone call is going to be something like, hey, I noticed you downloaded my list of homes. Are there any properties on that list you're interested in looking at in person? And the purpose of that call is really to kind of just have a conversation with them, pre-qualify them a little bit. You know, when are they looking to buy? Have they been pre-qualified for lending? Basically any questions that you would ask normally with an initial kind of phone consultation. And the end goal of that phone call is to try and book an in-person meeting with that person. And some people you're going to find are going to respond to your phone calls. Some people are going to respond to your text messages. Some people might respond to your emails. But basically by setting up these multiple follow-up attempts, it's going to significantly increase the likelihood that you actually contact and speak with, have a conversation with these new leads. And that's just going to significantly increase the likelihood that you're going to close them on contracts. So this is the exact process that I implemented for a client of mine in the States, and in under a month, it was actually like 2.5 weeks, we generated something like 60 leads, which led to a few meetings, and it resulted in 2 contracts being signed. One was a buyer contract, one was a buyer and seller contract. So that's going to represent, potentially $15,000 in revenue to that real estate agent simply because of this really effective Facebook advertising and lead generation strategy. So I hope you learned something from this. I hope you gained some value. If you have any questions about how to set this up, feel free to either send me an email. There's probably some information below this video that'll help you get in contact with me as well. I'll talk to you guys in the next video.